And Luana, we're back with Luana Chambers Lawson. And Luana, I wanted to ask you, how do you pick the businesses that you're going to work with Tacit Growth Strategy?
That's such an excellent question. I think for me, it really comes down to whether the business has a very clear understanding of where they're trying to go, and they have the type of leadership in place that can make it happen. That's really, when I think about who I bring on as a Tacit grower, those are the types of entities that I look for, because, you know, once you have strong leadership and you got a strong sort of vision, a map of how you want to go forward, anything is possible. And we can definitely get you value, because that's everything about what I like to do is create consistent value. So, you know, we go through one iteration of work, there's value that's already created. We go through another iteration of work, there's value created again. And so I think that you're able to do that when you have people who are very clear on where they're trying to go, and they have people who actually can make it happen that are already in positions of leadership.
So when you say consistent value, what does that look like?
So for most organizations, the value needs to look like something that they can use, a product that they can use immediately. Mm-hmm. So it's any type of product, service, or result that they can turn around and, you know, share with the board of directors, or turn around and share with the public that they serve. That's the type of value that we're talking about, because it's all about the voice of the customer, right? It's always about looking for and eliciting feedback from the voice of the customer, so that you're making sure that your work is meaningful, and it's actually going towards something that will ultimately continue to produce value for your customer.
Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, because you, aside from Tacit Growth, you've got a couple more irons in the fire. Like, you have your own podcast. So tell us about your podcast. So how did that happen? Because the two of you are kind of different. You have two completely different takes on everything.
Yeah. So we have like a Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp type of thing going on with my podcast. It's called Real Management Talk with LJ and Jocelyn. You got to check it out. To Tiffany's point, Jocelyn and I are complete opposites in every way. But I found out about Jocelyn when I was working at Edgewood ISD. The superintendent, had created my position as the district grant administrator. So I was tasked with taking care of all the grants for the school district. I think it was over 21 campuses at the time, plus, going after multi-million-dollar opportunities for the district. District-wide. And so, as a grant professional, all grant professionals know you don't work by yourself. If you want to go after multi-million-dollar opportunities, you've got to work as a team. Yep. So Jocelyn was actually introduced to me by my superintendent at the time, and she and I were going to work together on a couple of different grant projects, and we just kind of fell in love with each other from there. Mutual respect. We just talked about everything. It's like she told me about her whole backstory and all the experiences that she had with different, organizations that she'd worked with, and same, that I did with her. So ever since then, it's been years, and we've been good friends for years. Totally different people, totally different takes on everything from politics to everything else. But we respect each other for our differences, and we respect each other as, professionals in our spaces. So we have, the podcast is called Real Management Talk with LJ and Jocelyn. It's on all your platforms. You got it on Spotify and Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. It's on Anchor FM. So just check it out. And YouTube is also on YouTube. And just check it out and leave us some comments and let us know what you think about it.
I thought it was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Two of you are so different, because that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Is that you're getting completely different perspectives, and that's how businesses grow. That's how you get, how you figure out what's going to work for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
When you're looking at teams, like because like you mentioned teams earlier with grant teams. If you're trying to write big grants, you need to be doing that with the team.
Right.
How do you pick the team members? As you're helping these startups build, a big component of building a business is having a team that works together. So you can't have 5 Lawanas. You have to have one Lawana and one Tiffany and one Zach.
Right.
You can't have everybody the same.
Absolutely. You got it. Like you said it, you hit the nail on the head. For the grant writing team, there's got to be a cross-functional team. You've got to have, you've got to have an operations person. You've got to have an accounting person. You've got to have a finance person, and recognizing the nuances between accounting and finance. You got to have a person who's really good at looking at legal terminology and figuring out, what compliance is going to look like for a particular grant project. You even need to have beneficiaries and benefactors on that team. I think successful grant writing teams have people who are going to benefit from that program, and they also have people who are going to be the sponsors. Like, bring in those benefactors. If you've got someone that you want to support a project, let them know about it up front. Get them involved so that they can help you design the project. Let them design the proposal so that when it comes time for you to ask them for money, you can point to say that, hey, I used your, director of strategic initiatives to come up with this particular component of the proposal. That's powerful.
Wow. I would have never thought about that. That is a great tip. Now, everybody that's listening that is interested in grant funding, and that would be every little startup out there, that's a piece of information that you just got from a multi-million-dollar grant writer. Write that down and keep it. Because you
dropping gems.
That's right.
And I'm going to talk about that in the book. That'll be in the book. So, people want to read about how we can do that, pick up the book.
So tell us about your book. This is not your first book.
No. This will be the third one.
So you've written 3 books. So what's your book about?
This one is called Alexa, Write Me a Grant. And what it's about is literally everything that you need to know to actually be able to put together a solid grant proposal.
Oh, I love that. So
it's got stories, it's not just like other grant writing books where they show you, well, here's a template for this and here's a template for that. That's all good and sexy. But now, because everything is so sophisticated, you need stories so that you know how to you need some lessons learned so that you don't make the mistakes that I've made. So I put some stories into the book to help you navigate the waters.
And writing grants, that's it's very specific. You have to, you really do have to be able to tell a story, because it's not, I've seen other grant writers, and I've been surprised that they got funded. Everybody has a different style, but some people are just, man, basically you knew that the mission of the organization and the story of the organization is why, the group got funded. It had nothing to do with the level of skill of the grant writer. And then I've seen other people who have had you writing for them, and maybe they weren't together on their mission, but you were able to vocalize and help them strategize way better than the all over the place. Because for many of us who are in nonprofit, it's a heart deal, but we can be everywhere and not focused. And so a person like Luana, that's what I utilize the Luanas and the Zacks for is my job is to be the heart of Texas Kidney Foundation and what's going on at Texas Kidney Foundation, but also I have to focus and make sure everything we're doing is mission aligned, and that's where Luana and Zach and Dr. Mangla and others come into play, because you guys kind of help narrow that focus, because I'll want to help every aspect of kidney disease and what's going on, and y'all have to be like, and so you can do these projects.
Exactly.
This is what fits into 2021.
Exactly. Tiffany be trying to handle the outreach component. Should be trying to handle the white papers, handling all the screenings and all that.
Like, no. Here's
like
here's what you're supposed
here's your swim
to
lane. That's right.
Stay over here. You cannot do every single thing, and you have to have somebody that does that. Like within a team, there are specific roles that each person plays, and that are necessary for the team to be successful. Like there's no way to be successful if every single person is Luana and if every single person is Tiffany. You have to have the two separates.
That's right.
It sounds, that's how you end up able to do what you love, is that we're each doing what we love, so when you bring that passion to work, man, that makes a huge difference. So come back, you all, and we're going to listen. And in our next segment, we are going to talk about Luana's book a little bit more in depth, her other two books, to see what has this lady been up to and what is it that you can learn from Luana. You are listening to On the Record with Tiffany, and we will be back.